candle is but a simple thing. It starts with just a bit of string. Yet dipped and dipped with a patient hand, it gathers wax upon the strand. Until complete and snowy white, it gives at last a lovely light. Life seems so like that bit of string, each deemed to do a simple thing. Yet day by day, and on life's strand, we work with a patient heart and hand. It gathers joy, makes dark days bright, and gives at last a lovely light. Good evening and welcome to the 72nd National Honor Society Induction Ceremony. My name is Kennedy Jarvis, President of Stephen T. Bain High School's National Honor Society Chapter. To begin, I'd like to invite Tracy Fields to read a passage from Sacred Scripture.
A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has become tasteless, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven.
Thank you, Tracy. The foundation of the National Honor Society lies in its four pillars: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Logan Hayes will now provide insight into scholarship.
Scholarship is the commitment to search for knowledge in every aspect of one's life. Only through hard work, determination, perseverance, and a sense of vision can true scholarship be achieved. One must exhibit the ability to make good choices along the road to wisdom. The quest for understanding is a lifelong journey, an eternal, continuous process. Scholarship sheds light on the past and supplies hope for the future. More important than any grade any scholar may ever receive is the ultimate inherent drive to benefit all of humanity.
Thank you, Logan. Tate Brandenburg will now present a reading about service.
Service is doing something for others, but not expecting anything in return. Selfless acts of compassion by which we help those around us. We can achieve the highest form of happiness and fulfillment in life by showing respect and care for others. Through volunteer work and simple acts of kindness, we can each help to forge a better tomorrow.
Thank you, Tate. Eli Pappas will now offer a reading on leadership.
A leader is someone who exemplifies characteristics that enable a group of people to function as a whole. These characteristics being responsibility, organization, and cooperation. In taking initiative, a leader sets an example which others may strive to align with, while also promoting an environment in which others can grow and succeed. Leadership especially involves sacrifice, the willingness to yield away from one's personal interest for the good of others.
Thank you, Eli. The final piece on character will be read by Tracy Fields.
Character, by definition, is what distinguishes one person from another. It is a person's individuality that makes them who they are. One's values act as a basis for respect towards others and oneself. It is this ethical force that guides us through life, and once planted, grows steadily. We all value different things to varying degrees, yet there seems to be a universal perception of what is right and what is wrong. A person of good character, or rather integrity, has qualities such as reliability, honesty, and sincerity.
Thank you, Tracy. Our National Honor Society chapter exists to provide great opportunities for scholarship, create enthusiasm for service, promote worthy leadership, and encourage the development of Christian character in all students at Stephen T. Baden High School. Selection for membership is a responsibility of the school's National Honor Society Faculty Council. A student's academic records are reviewed to determine scholastic eligibility. A 3.8 cumulative GPA is required. Students who are eligible are then notified and invited to fill out an application covering consistent involvement in works of service and leadership. The names of the students who complete and submit the application are then placed before the entirety of Baden's faculty for them to provide an in-depth comments. A committee made up of faculty members then evaluates the candidates based on character, leadership, and service. Mr. Seitz, Mr. Stewart, and Mrs. Thompson are the moderators of this committee. They're only to facilitate the procedure. Tonight, we welcome the Baden students who will be inducted into our ranks for the 2020 to 2021 school year. We were pleased to have Mr. Patrick Keating and Mr. Dirk Allen to introduce the inductees tonight.
Good evening. Each of the inductees was asked to submit a personal statement to be read during their part in tonight's ceremony. Students, when your name is called, please come forward to sign the book signaling your induction into the National Honor Society. You will then sit with the current NHS members in the front 2 rows. Parents, we ask that you come forward as well with your son or daughter when his or her name is called. Please light a candle for your son or daughter to signify your part in their academic success, and then pass that candle to your son or daughter before taking your own seat again. Finally, we ask that everyone please hold their applause until all students have been called. We will begin with the senior inductees. Brooke Bowman. After high school, I plan on attending Miami University, Oxford to study computer science. Ever since I was younger, it has always been my dream to attend Miami as a first-generation college student in my family. Computers have always fascinated me, and I am my family's go-to tech person when they break something or can't figure it out. Another passion of mine is art, especially through the medium of makeup. I'll also be minoring in art because if somehow computers don't work out, I would like to be an art teacher. Mrs. McDoolin and Mrs. Daniels have both helped me to realize that I can make a career out of art, especially through teaching. Ella Brennan. I'm majoring in fashion design at the University of Cincinnati. I have always known I wanted to major in something to do with art because I've spent so many years of my life in the art room, my second home at Baden. I am interested in fashion design because of the hands-on experiences and because of always having a love for clothes. UC is one of the top fashion schools, and the program has stood out to me from the beginning. After college, I hope to be designing for a major clothing company or to specialize in wedding dress designs. Colin Connor. My favorite quote that inspires me is from the Bible. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13 states, I can do all things through God who gives me strength. I use that quote as my motivation every day. It gives me comfort and I live by it. I know that if I continue to live by that quote and trust God, I will be able to accomplish anything that I desire. I will continue to live by that quote in high school and beyond, as it is truly inspiring to me and makes me want to be myself by inspiring me to accomplish my goals. Logan M Hoff. I have loved my time at Baden High School. One of my favorite memories from my time at Baden was the time I spent on the football team and our 10-0 season. I've been inspired by my physiology class taught by Mrs. DeRosa, where I learned so much but have fun doing it. I've been lucky to have a group of friends to push me to do my best as an athlete and as a student. Elena Jackson. Service is a huge part of who I am. In my sophomore year here at Baden, the soccer team went in place of practice to a rundown agency called Hamilton Living Water Ministries. Little did I know that one trip to Hamilton Living Water Ministries was to change me forever. I began to serve with this after-school program weekly, and that opened the door for all things service in my life. Service is an outlet for me to get away from my stresses and worries and help someone who has it much worse than me. The service opportunities Baden has provided me throughout my time here have humbled me and shaped me into the person I am today. Without the exposure to the struggling communities in our area, I would not be as understanding of the issues many individuals face and would continue to take the life I have for granted.
Owen Matthews. I feel my biggest accomplishment thus far is committing to run Division I cross country and track in college. Since I started running in 6th grade and really started getting into the sport my freshman year, I always knew college running was something on the table for me. I knew that it wasn't going to be easy and I was going to have to work hard in order to achieve that goal. There was a time in high school when things weren't going as well as expected and Division I seemed like more of a long shot. With the help of my teammates, coaches, and family, I was able to push through and get back on track. After having a great senior season in cross country, I was finally able to sign with Northern Kentucky University, where I'll be able to continue to run for the next 4 years. Frank Munifo. Although I only participated in this activity for a year and a half, it still had the greatest impact on me. This activity specifically taught me how to face adversity. During my freshman football season, I broke my tibia fibula on the second day of the school year at a scrimmage against Little Miami. I was carried off the field in an ambulance and needed surgery. Being wheelchair and crutch bound for my entire first year of high school wasn't fun, but I never regret playing football. This injury taught me not to feel sorry for myself and made me realize someone will always have it worse. Without my family and friends' motivation, the situation and the challenges I had to face would have been much harder to deal with. Anna Nguyen. The field of study that I would like to pursue in college is computer science. I'm interested in this field because I have always been interested in computers and technology. I started out by building and fixing computers and laptops with my brother. I took computer and programming classes throughout high school. I also worked at a tech store as a technician where I fixed laptops. I am hoping to go to college in California, UCLA more specifically. My dream is to work at a company like Google or Apple and bring more female representation to the STEM field. Sean Pendergast. Starting early in my sophomore year, service has been a major priority in my life. I began exploring issues and causes represented through the nonprofits in our community and quickly found my calling to work with children. I served weekly at the Boys and Girls Club, Hamilton Living Waters, and the Father's House. I focused on helping with homework while making sure they were having fun. They reminded me how to be a kid and find the joy in simplest things. This newfound passion led me to Guatemala in 2019 and again this summer. The main thing I love about serving is the feeling I get when I am done knowing that others have benefited because of my work. This love for service and children has led to my decision to pursue an education degree after high school. I would like to thank Mrs. Megan Halverson for inspiring me every day to live better than I did the day before and to fight against the injustices around us. Kimberly Salerno. I plan to study at the University of North Florida. I will pursue a degree in crime and justice studies. I am interested in forensic science, and I hope to be a forensic science technician. I am interested in a degree in criminal justice because crime scene investigation and forensic files intrigues me. I would like to thank Mrs. DeRosa for teaching me about forensics and physiology, and my parents for encouraging me to pursue this degree. You know, Kim's cousin graduated from Bowman a few years ago, Teresa Salerno, and I was at her graduation party, and her dad reminded me of this tonight. His brother said to me, "You ought to go bug my brother about sending his kids to Bowman High School as the admissions director." Well, 3 more Salernos have come to Bowman, including Kim. Good for Bowman. Joey Stidham. Quote, "It wasn't until the first I'd seen what's been followed and to what it leads," end quote. For me, this quote serves as a reminder to be conscious of the things I take for face value and the assumptions I function off of every day. I practice listening with intent, or trying to truly understand what someone is saying to me rather than just hearing it. Other people can open you up to ideas or perspectives that shift your entire understanding of things if you really try to process what they're saying. Don't discount experience or opinions. Once you practice understanding, it will become apparent that most of the time, considering another opinion to be invalid stems from a personal lack of understanding, empathy, attentiveness, etc. In short, have a sonder every once in a while.
We will now introduce the junior inductees of the National Honor Society. Molly Anthony. Throughout all of my time at school, a major reason for my success would be my parents and my friends. From staying up to help me finish math or packing my lunch in the mornings when I'm running late, my parents are always there to support me. They are always proud of all my accomplishments, and it means a lot to me. In addition, my friends always know how to help me when I'm stressed, and they never fail to make me smile. I could not have done all that I do without them by my side. Hannah Ballinger. The author C.S. Lewis once said, "What you see and what you hear depends a great deal on where you are standing. It also depends on what sort of person you are." As I have grown older, it has become more clear how uncertain and sacred life is. This quote is a daily reminder to me that life will only result in the way that you choose to see it. It truly is a mindset I've had to acquire in order to see the positive and good during the hardest of times. Even though this has been hard to remember through the uncertainty, I have noticed the impact and new perspective it has instilled in my life. Lauren Beard. Service to me is work. It can be hard, it can be dangerous, or even uncomfortable at some times. But without it, I don't know if I would be where I am now. The challenges that come with service have shaped me into a stronger person, in my faith and in my heart. Not everyone is called to volunteer or to do service, but those who are truly blessed. As a Christian, I am called to do work that will lead me to be more like Christ. Therefore, I will help those who may not help me. I will love those who perhaps don't love me. I I will be kind to those who may not show kindness to me. I work every day to follow God's calling for me. I will continue to work where I will be serving others in my future career and in my future missions. I owe my life and inspiration to every minute I've had in my service experience. Ellie Black. Academics has always been something that I've taken very seriously, and I learned this attitude from my grandma. When I moved from Texas to Ohio, my family moved in with my grandma, who at the time was a 6th grade language arts teacher. Such drastic change affected my schoolwork tremendously, but my grandma always helped me get on the right track. She would sit down with me every day after school and go over my homework with me. She answered any questions I had, helped me study, and was there to uplift me when I doubted myself. Her desire to help me and see me grow instilled a fierce work ethic in me, allowing me to strengthen all areas of my life. My grandma has been more integral in my academic career for the majority of my life, and I can never thank her enough for all of the sacrifices she has made, which allow me to be where I am today. Nicholas Blava. And when you lose control, you will reap the harvest you have sown. This quote is from Pink Floyd's Dogs and serves as a reminder to keep myself straight-edged and to consider my choices and decisions more carefully. This quote has helped me in understanding the value and importance of even the smallest of decisions and their consequences. It also allows me the chance to reflect on how strong my connections are. This one quote, in a strange sense, has served to be a guiding stone in my life, helping me to look at the bigger picture as a whole. After all, by the end of my life, I will be grateful for the ability to look back and enjoy a bountiful harvest. Emma Buchheit. For me, service is helping and caring for those who need it the most. My passion is working directly with kids, where I've had the opportunity to develop personal relationships. Building these connections over time is by far the most rewarding part about service. It's always a great feeling when the kids I'm working with are happy to see me. Their imagination and positivity is always inspiring and has helped me grow as a person. Volunteering with children at local agencies like the Boys and Girls Club is a passion that I plan to continue in the future. Brandon Burke. Swimming has been the most important activity to me outside of school. I've been swimming for over half of my life, and it has shaped me as a person. Outside of school, a majority of my time is spent at the pool with my swim team. My dedication and perseverance originated with my swimming. It has become a part of who I am, and I identify heavily as a swimmer. Riley Clemons. A service I am most passionate about is my work through the Father's House. When I started at the Father's House, one of my friends and I were assigned to a family with 4 kids, 2 of which were fostered. I had limited experience in babysitting, and I wasn't a big fan of toddlers. But as time went on, I started to realize that I am passionate about foster care and love the family that I was with. Working in the Father's House never feels like a chore, and it reminds me that family doesn't always have to be who you're related to. Although the foster kids have been relocated, their impact in my life has been huge. It has reminded me to be aware and be grateful for the many opportunities and blessings that I have in my life. Liz Feldner. Service to me means caring, respecting, and appreciating the opportunity to connect with others and value the things that make us different. I am most passionate about helping those experiencing homelessness and providing support for children in foster care. Service has made me more aware of certain situations, which has helped me choose a future career path. After high school, I would like to earn my degree in environmental studies and eventually open a nonprofit. fear. In the memoir Lucky, Alice Sebold states, "You either save yourself or you remain unsaved." I believe this quote means you cannot always rely on other people to help you in life. That at some point in your life, you have to be the one to help yourself. Other people aren't always going to be there to help you, or may not know how to help you. In this case, you have to be able to put in the work if you want to save yourself. This quote has given me strength through the way it motivates me to be independent in everyday life and to be more responsible in my struggles. I have learned through my academic career that I can lean on and ask others for advice, but ultimately, I must put in the work to be a good student and to succeed in school. Lauren Flick. One activity in particular that changed my life for the better is scuba diving. I've always loved being underwater, but I never thought of diving. While watching Shark Week with my family, we saw divers jumping in the ocean with over 100 sharks. I remember thinking, those people are crazy. I would never do something that dangerous. This is the exact thought that was running through my mind while I was 75 feet deep in a hole in the ocean full of over 100 sharks. The life lesson here is to never say never. Diving brought a revolutionary change in my life. I found that I had a true passion for the ocean and everything in it, including the organisms with big teeth. Diving allowed me to see that I wanted to pursue marine biology as a career so I could protect the reefs from their untimely demise and allow future generations to enjoy the ocean for years to come. Caddy Guy. They say the two most important words in the English language is next time. These two words have helped me learn one of the biggest life lessons, to never give up. As a freshman and sophomore, I had the ultimate goal of going to state for swimming, but narrowly missed qualification both years by mere tenths. My sophomore year, I was so down on myself, I almost decided to quit the sport of swimming. But I decided to keep my head held high and work for the future. This year, I reached my goal my junior year and swam for the first time in state. If I would have given up, I wouldn't have reached my goal, and I realized this persistence goes for every aspect of life, not just swimming. Jacob Graff. To me, service is the duty to do what we can to help others. Service is something I love to be involved in. I am passionate about helping those in poverty and working in the background to improve the lives of others. Service is something I was heavily involved in at Bowman and plan to be involved in even more service in the future. No matter where I go to college, I plan to either join or start a service club in which to be involved. Service is a major part of my life, and I'm excited to further my service to others. Olivia Grammel. Service to me means building connections and relationships with all types of people. I have found that my passion lies in working with kids. I learned this through volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club of Hamilton. There is nothing better than building connections with the kids and having them hug you every time you walk in. Hearing them trust you enough to tell you about their day and their fun weekend plans is always heartwarming. My goal is to keep going to the club, to build and strengthen bonds with kids who remind me to enjoy the small things in life. It was volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club that made me realize I want to pursue a career in which I can work with and help kids. Todd Hayes. The recent service I've been doing means so much to me that the old me would not even be able to comprehend it. At first, when we were assigned the 20-hour volunteer requirement, I thought it was just another painful assignment that had to get done. But I was wrong. I volunteer at the Grand Boys and Girls Club, and there are so many different types of kids who come from so many different types of backgrounds and households. Every kid is unique, but one thing that they all have in common is they need to know that they are loved and cared about. Every time I walk in the doors, I want the kids to know if they need someone to talk to, play with, cry to, read with, etc. I'm here. I try to teach the kids every day, but it seems like they are actually the ones teaching me with their examples of love, compassion, and togetherness with each other. Katie, here now. Ever since I heard the quote, "Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it," by Charles R. Swindoll, I could instantly apply it to my life. I'm a person who tends to let stress affect me easily. In between tough classes, sports, and extracurriculars, well, I get pretty stressed. It's during these moments I can grasp the full meaning behind this quote, that so little of life is actually comprised of what I'm involved in the events that take place, compared to how I choose to respond to these factors. It made me realize that if I change the way I react to the environment around me, life could be so much more stress-free. Overall, this quote inspires me to believe that life doesn't have to be harder than necessary, and that ultimately 90% of the time, we are in control. It has taught me to just breathe and to be more conscious of how I react, or overreact, to situations, because life is too short not to enjoy every single moment. Madison Bodette. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. The first time I read this quote was in 7th or 8th grade, and it quickly became one of my favorites. When going through hard times, it can be so hard to find the light because it's so easy to dwell on the darkness. When bad things have happened in my life, I try to focus on one thing that makes me happy, rather than the hardships I am facing. With COVID-19 impacting all of us the way it has, and restricting us from doing things that we love, hardships are at the forefront of a lot of our thoughts. This quote just reminds me that even though there will always be bad times, I will always be able to make them better if I remember to turn on the light. Leo Hoppa. As of now, my future plans are mostly blurry, since I'm only 16, and if I wanted to, I could probably choose to go into any field of study. I also haven't applied to any colleges yet, but I'm pretty sure I would like to go to Ohio State University. That being said, there are a lot of things that I know about myself now that will definitely influence my future. As of now, it seems like my interest in science and math will be leading me to an engineering degree. Of course, there are several different types of engineering, each one vastly different from the other. The specific type of engineering that I'd like to pursue may change once I actually start college. But right now, because I like the idea of helping improve people's health, I think I'd like to go into biomedical engineering. This makes my choice of Ohio State University for college very helpful, since it has a wonderful engineering program. Mary Hunt. Everyone I've met has had an impact on my life in one way or another. Obviously, my parents, brother, and extended family have influenced my life, but my peers and friends have also helped me to get where I am today. The friends I've made in different classes and activities changed my life and continue to make me who I am today. Whenever I need help, someone to explain something in a hard class, or even just someone to sit with me at lunch, I can count on my friends. Throughout my 3 years in high school, Baden has given me the best group of people I could have ever asked for, and they help me achieve my goals and get me where I want to be. Haley Jacobs. When I was younger, I didn't always have the best life, specifically having little guidance at home. I didn't care about anything at all because I was just trying to get by in life. I ended up leaving my biological parents and getting adopted by Craig and Terry Jacobs. Since then, I've become an entirely different person. They became my mom and my dad and gave me a safe home with everything I needed and more. As my mom would always say, we're trying to make you the best person that you can be. When I landed in their care, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. So I took the opportunity given to me and made a life for myself, one that I've become very proud of. Because of leukemia and heart failure, I ended up losing my mom a couple weeks before my sophomore year. This was a very hard setback for me, but I persevered, and now everything I do is for her. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Molly Carwish. My future plans involve going into the medical field. I plan on getting my MD in psychiatry with a specialization in pediatrics. I've always wanted to work with kids since the 5th grade. I decided to put my two interests, children and mental well-being, together. I have decided that I would like to go to Xavier University, the University of Dayton, or Miami University for my undergraduate studies. I plan on going to medical school at The Ohio State University or the University of Cincinnati. Kramer. My parents have both been a huge part in not only my academic success, but also in the formation of who I am as a person today. Growing up, my parents always instilled in me the value of hard work, and that if I wanted something, I was going to have to put in the work to achieve it. This has played the biggest role in my academic success because while I may not always be the smartest, I can always be the most hardworking. My parents have also made so many sacrifices for me so that I could go to a great school like Baden and have time to do my schoolwork. From small sacrifices like picking up the slack on my chores when I have a big test to study for, to the big sacrifices like paying my school tuition. They have both been here for me through it all and have done many selfless acts in order for me to achieve my goals. Caroline Bidendorf. In college, I plan to pursue a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Specifically, I have always wanted to be a labor and delivery nurse. This is because I feel I am called to help mothers in the miracle of childbirth. I am not sure yet, but I envision myself at a smaller, more intimate school with a good nursing program. My goal will be to obtain the best education and to prepare myself for my future career. Lisa Nam. My mom is the most influential person in my success. My mom taught me the importance of trying something new. She was always there for me whenever I needed advice or just a listening ear. Most importantly, she gave me the courage to have faith in myself and to believe that I could do the impossible. It could be 5 a.m. and she will still be ready to listen. She pushes me to succeed, elevates me to reach my goals, and paints a vivid and tangible picture of success in my mind. I want to thank my mom for always being there for me, no matter what situation, and leading me to the right path. While we certainly appreciate Tim and Connie Young for looking after Lisa, many of you know Lisa is an international student who is here halfway across the world from South Korea, and we certainly appreciate the fact that she's here. Jackson Neeson. One of my favorite quotes is from Kobe Bryant. Everything negative, pressure, challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise. This quote has really stuck with me for many reasons. The first one being that Kobe's mentality as a player and a person was always something that I wanted to have. This quote can be easily used for motivation for anything, especially sports, which is what I mainly use it for. It really helps me better myself as an athlete. Anytime I see someone else slowing down or easing up in a game or practice, I force myself to go harder and beat them to show what I can do. I also use it against myself as well. When I feel myself slowing down or not giving it my all, this quote brings me back to go harder. Jada Bowman. I have a quote hanging above my bed that reads, "In a world where you can be anything, be kind." I am at that stage of my life where adults are constantly hammering me with the question of what I want to be when I grow up, like that's all there is to talk about. As much as I would love to plan out my whole life, I can't tell you what I want to major in or even what college I want to go to. But I do know that I want to be more than just one thing when I grow up. I want to be kind and humble, compassionate, generous, fun, hardworking, and confident. I firmly believe that life will take me where I need to be if I focus on growing in these invaluable virtues. In the end, I hope that I am not only labeled by a worldly position, but that I am remembered by God's characteristics of love. Riley Raines. The biggest life lesson I have learned thus far has been taught to me by the current pandemic, COVID-19. It has taught me to be more patient, adaptable, and above all else, appreciative. Throughout the beginning stages of the pandemic, adjusting to remote learning was definitely a challenge and made us all adapt to a new norm. But the teachers were patient and continue to be, as many things are still changing, and in return, they have taught me to do the same. Above all, I appreciate everything Bidendorf has continued to do for us students during the pandemic. They have listened to our wishes to remain in person and have done everything in their power to make that happen. This is all important to me because it taught me to have a new outlook on life. And it also made me realize how lucky I am by putting the little things I take for granted into perspective. Alyssa Roach. When I am faced with difficult obstacles in my life that I need to overcome, God is my strength to succeed. The Bible verse, with God all things are possible, Matthew 19:26, reminds me that when I'm in a difficult situation, I can ask God for assistance. This verse inspires me to do good and help make a difference in the world. My goal is to make others want to know God by how I live, so I try my best to live a God-honoring life. I keep this verse, Matthew, and similar ones in places around my room or in my car, so that I will always see them to remind myself that Jesus is the reason I'm here, so I should live my life through His strength and power. Andrew Schwartz. Service to me is having and seeing the impact that you have on someone or your community. I do service through an organization called Sleep in Heavenly Peace, where we build and deliver beds to kids that don't have one in Butler County. I used to just build the parts of the bed, but then I started to deliver beds and seeing the impact that I made on someone's life. This simple thing that we take for granted, someone else sees as a blessing. Doing this service brought that concept into perspective. I plan on continuing service through Sleep in Heavenly Peace because I genuinely enjoy it, not because it's a requirement. And in the lobby, you'll see a couple of Sleep in Heavenly Peace beds, as a matter of fact. Dominic Siegel. I would like to thank my parents for my academic success. My dad always tells me to put in 100% effort. My mom is always really supportive when I am stressed out. I'd also like to thank my teachers. Whenever I am struggling with a subject, I always ask for help, and they always help me out. They let me know that it's never embarrassing to be the only one asking a question or to be confused. Jenna Seaford. After high school, I plan on attending a 4-year college with hopes of entering law school. I want to become a lawyer to help people navigate the legal system. I want to make sure individuals and families have someone to stand up for them and defend their rights. I think this would be a very rewarding career, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I don't have a specific college picked out as yet, but I'm looking at places like Case Western Reserve, the University of Cincinnati, Mount St. Joseph, and Thomas More. Mallory Smith. The biggest life lesson that I have learned thus far is to live every single moment to the fullest. No one can ever know how long they're going to be here on this earth, and you don't want to live with regrets and the dwelling question of what if. We each only have one life, and at the end of mine, I hope to have fully lived every second I have been given to the fullest. It is extremely important that we all push ourselves to be the best that we can be and make positive impacts on the lives of those around us. You never know what the person next to you is going through, and you never want to miss an opportunity to change someone's life. Love those around you, choose to be brave, and make the very most of the one life you have been given. You know, Mallory's dad, Brett Smith, reminded me on the way in, you always say, what do you always say, Burke? And so what I always say is, as many of you have heard, don't ever apologize for being smart, right? Don't ever apologize for being smart. You're here to do the best you can in school, and obviously you've done that, and I know Mr. Pendergast is going to touch on that in a few minutes, but never apologize for being smart. Kylie Spade. Attitude of gratitude and motivational Monday. Root words save lives. These words, and many others spoken by the teacher who repeats them like a mantra, have impacted my life in more ways than I can count. Since freshman year, Mrs. Breitz has been changing my mindset for the better through her positive attitude, approachable nature, and passion for teaching. Being in her class has not only improved my study skills, which I had never needed before high school, but also made me mentally stronger and taught me life lessons that I would not have learned in any other classroom. I have never considered myself a science person because I've always been more interested in other subjects, but having Mrs. Breitz as a teacher has caused me to change my opinion on science. I still don't know exactly what I want to do in college or afterwards, but I do know that I am going to look into science fields and even consider teaching careers because of Mrs. Breitz's impact on my life. Meredith Stieritz. High school has taught me many great lessons, many great life lessons, but the one that has stuck with me the most is that in the end, everybody should do what will make them the happiest. High school is one of the most memorable, fun, exciting, and testing times, but it is easy to get caught up in the moment and doubt the decisions you make. These decisions could involve the classes you are taking, the activities you are involved in, or other aspects outside of school. It is important to always do what you feel is best for yourself and not what you feel will make others happy. Choosing to do what makes you happiest, whether that be in your high school career or outside of it, allows you to gain so much freedom and long-term happiness that you otherwise wouldn't have. This is such an important lesson to learn because it is applicable throughout life and it gives us control over all of the things that we are able to accomplish. Caden Thomas. Of all the activities I've been involved in at Baden, running has certainly been the most important to me. I run year-round during cross-country, indoor track, and outdoor track. In joining all three of these teams throughout my sophomore year, I've made some of my closest friends and learned some very important lessons through them. Learning what it's really like to compete and put my all into something has carried into other areas of my life, namely my classwork. Although I have very little athletic ability, the thrill of knowing I'm faster than I was yesterday will never get old to me, and that need for self-improvement has bled over into countless other areas of my life. Case Trokin. While it may seem counterintuitive, failure is often an essential part of success. Henry Ford once said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." Each day we are faced with numerous decisions. As we mature and get older, the nature of those decisions changes, but the basic elements remain the same. You are presented with multiple choices, many of which will lead to failure. The question becomes whether you will give up easily or pick yourself up and start over using the knowledge you gain. It is only once we learn to look at our failures as stepping stones rather than roadblocks that we truly begin to succeed. Austin Trotter. The biggest life lesson I have learned is that I need to chase my goals no matter what. There is no reason to be afraid of chasing my goals because failure is a chance to go endure a learning experience. Looking at failure as a positive allows me to improve my life and the lives of others because there are no possible negative outcomes. Having a positive attitude is contagious to other people, and the more I can spread positivity, the better off my life and the lives of others are. I see no reason to leave the world as it is when I can make it better by doing something as simple as changing my mindset. Lexi von Bargen. Never take any blessing for granted because it can be taken away just as easily as it was given. A serious concussion and an 8-month period of recovery taught me this essential lesson. Throughout the duration of my concussion, I learned the true value of the daily blessings we often take for granted, such as the ability to walk, read, run, and enjoy simple entertainment. Unmindfully using them every day with little to no thought of how important they are to our daily lives often leads to ignorance and ungratefulness. By remembering these little blessings, we remember how great our God is, despite all the negative events occurring in our world. His great love and caring nature is what ultimately led me to be released from all therapy in May of 2020. This experience has taught me to enjoy every blessing and has also served as a reminder that in an ever-changing world, God's love, mercy, and faith in us remains unchanging. Samuel Vornhagen. Baden High School has enhanced my awareness to the people around me, and by participating in service, it has allowed me to grow as a person physically and mentally. Service has played a great role in my life so far. It has allowed me to experience things I probably would have never seen, and it educates me to know more about what I might experience in the future. The service I most enjoy is where I get to be hands-on and know how much my efforts are affecting the people we are helping firsthand. I plan to keep on doing service because it makes me feel better when I do something good and when I know that people are benefiting from my efforts. It makes me want to continue to help the people in my community that truly need it. Ashley Wagner. The most important activity that I've been involved in is the Youth Philanthropy Committee with the Hamilton Community Foundation. I joined freshman year, and I have been able to gain a lot of important experiences during my years. Not only have I met so many students from other schools in the area, but I have also become acquainted with many important adults in the community. YPC has allowed me to involve myself in unique service opportunities and to see the financing and preparation it takes to put them together. As head of recruitment for the committee, I have also learned the importance of good communication. Overall, YPC is important to me because it is getting me involved in my community and teaching me lessons along the way. Zach Wagner. The most important activity I've been involved in so far in my high school career is running cross country. This past season was the first time I had been a part of the team and the first time I had ever ran competitively. I had never been a runner, and it was extremely out of my comfort zone. I had been pushed into doing it by friends who were also on the team. They knew I wasn't a runner, but they knew I could do it, so they pushed anyway. Throughout the season, I saw myself grow in my ability and actually start to enjoy going to practice. I had so much fun while running with my friends around me that I almost forgot that I was even running. Joining the team and pushing myself is the best decision I have ever made.
First of all, I just want to congratulate all the students. This is a huge accomplishment, and the time and effort and dedication you've shown throughout your high school career is what has gotten you here from that standpoint. Second of all, I just want to thank all the parents for, one, entrusting us with your students. It's a big sacrifice, and we know that. We take that very seriously. And third, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. To be able to actually have this ceremony and have people in this gym for this is tremendous. And thank you for your support throughout this whole year that allowed us to be able to do this at this point. You know, when we talk about our mission, inspiring young men and women to achieve their personal best, live their faith, and lead the future. When you sit here and listen to the stories or the information that the students presented, if you're not inspired by the things that they're doing, what their accomplishments, and how they envision the world, it's hard not to be impressed. And it's obviously a tribute to all of you for your dedication to not just your academics, but being such well-rounded students. Make sure, students, that you thank your parents, not only for the sacrifice of being here, but whether you believe it or not, they are actually smart, and you got a lot of your brains from them. So make sure that you thank them for that. I know as teenagers, a lot of times we don't think that as adults we know anything, but we're actually pretty smart from that standpoint. So make sure you thank them for that. When you think about the four pillars of what it means to be in NHS, that comes with a lot of responsibility that you've already shown, but to uphold those foundations, those pillars, is even more important. So moving forward, you've been recognized tonight for your outstanding accomplishments, but now the pressure's really on. You've worked hard to get here, and now you've got to live up to those four pillars. And like I said before, listening to your stories, I don't think that'll be an issue at all. I want to thank Chuck Andrews for being here tonight and for videotaping this. To Mr. Seitz, Mrs. Thompson, and Mr. Stewart for organizing this and getting us all together. And a special thanks to Kennedy Jarvis for doing a great job of making sure that this all went as it was supposed to. She did a great job behind the scenes, making sure that as adults we were doing what we were supposed to do to make sure this night happened. And I want to thank you for doing that. You did a great job for doing that. So congratulations to all of you. We're extremely proud of you. And on behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration, congratulations on a great accomplishment.
Thank you, Mr. P. These are the 2021 inductees. Oh my gosh, we're going to mess this up, sorry. These are the 2021 inductees into the Stephen T. Baden High School chapter of the National Honor Society. I now ask all members to stand, face the audience, and join me in reciting the pledge on the back of your programs. I pledge myself to uphold our high purpose as a National Honor Society. Striving in every way of my word and deed to make its ideals the ideals of my school and of my life. You may be seated. We commend these students for their outstanding participation, leadership, and service. Induction into the National Honor Society is truly the highest honor the faculty can bestow upon its students. You may now extinguish your candles and be seated. In closing, I would like to personally congratulate all of you for being inducted into the National Honor Society. With your help, we can make this a great year and accomplish many things. Special thanks to Mr. Seitz, Mr. Stewart, and Mrs. Thompson for being our moderators and making this event possible. I would also like to thank Mr. Allen, Mr. P., Mr. Keating, Mr. M Hoff, Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Memory, and all other faculty and staff for their help. Please expect an email from me or Mr. Seitz regarding the Google Classroom and the meeting this Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I invite Eli to come up here and say a few more things.
I invite the inductees to grab a zippy bag on your exit with your NHS pin and some treats.
Thank you, Eli. You put a lot of time and dedication into that speech, so. Congratulations to all the inductees. I'm looking forward to a great year, so thank you guys. Congratulations.